Well, my movie-loving friends, a new year means a clean slate in terms of what's going to be big at the box office. We don't always have a lot of details with these kind of look-aheads into the new year or necessarily a lot of visuals, but we've got better than that. We've got our secret weapon, a man plugged into all things film. That is, of course, your morning's film critic, Rad. He's here to share insider details and top titles heading to a screen near you in the new year. I love it.
I mean, I'm just like, I've never had such a great drum roll.
There you
like,
go. A man of cinematic mystery. Rad, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's look ahead to this year, to 2025, and let's start with a director I know you and I both love, Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
He gave us Creed. Fruitvale Station was his first film. Of course, Black Panther. What's his new movie all about?
Well, I mean, so again, we have very little detail. We know that it's starring his muse, Michael B. Jordan, in twin roles, playing two characters, and it's set in the Jim Crow South. It looks, when you look at the trailer, it looks kind of like his From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
But you know, like, and what's really exciting about this, I mean, the trailer looks amazing, but what's really exciting is, like, this is Ryan Coogler's first movie in a decade that's not part of a franchise, right?
Great
like,
point, yeah.
He's been, like, elbowing out space for his voice in, like, in the Creed franchise, the Rocky franchise, and then the Marvel franchise. Well, now he's returning to something where he has the freedom to tell the story he wants. And I'm really excited to see what he does there, and that makes this feel like a real event.
And him and Michael B. Jordan together, amazing. So it's called Sinners. I'm stoked for that. I'm also stoked for a filmmaker who I absolutely love. He loves Canada, Guillermo del Toro. He also understands movie monsters at this like deep academic level, and he's going to a classic, Frankenstein. Do we know much about his adaptation?
We know nothing.
Okay,
we know nothing. I mean, we know that, hey, it's Guillermo del Toro. This is a guy who brings a lot of sensuality and elegance to these old genre classics.
Yes.
And we know, all we know is we saw a big boat built out in the docks area, like this giant ship that everyone in their Toronto towers were like, what is that?
Yeah.
So we know that that's part of the set of the movie, that, and then beyond that, we know it has this to die for cast. You got Oscar Isaac playing Dr. Frankenstein, and you have Jacob Elordi playing probably the hottest Frankenstein monster ever. So I think that's enough.
That's a fair amount of information. And I love that Guillermo shoots most of his films in the GTA too. I love that. The Final Destination is back. I, of course, remember the franchise growing up. It is back, and there's a Canadian connection, right?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, like, look, this is 25 years since the original, and of course, you're not familiar with the Final Destination franchise. This is the franchise that all began where some kid had a premonition on a flight. Everyone was gonna die because it was gonna explode, and they cheated death, but then death keeps following them in the most ridiculous ways, and it's so much fun. So I'm not just excited that we are having another Final Destination movie. I am excited about this Canadian duo behind the movie called Zadam, that people refer to as Zadam. These guys directed a little indie movie a few years ago called Freaks, which was like this really inventive, they really low budget, really inventive way to make a sci-fi mystery on limited means. So that kind of resourcefulness makes me think that, okay, these guys are great for a Final Destination, but also, like, the story of how they got this job is almost as interesting as the Final Destination movie, because, like, they were apparently in a Zoom meeting with the studio executives when they were, like, auditioning for the job. And in the Zoom meeting, their fireplace burst out of control, and the studio was like, what's going on? So then they extinguished the fire, and everything seemed settled, but then the ceiling fan came and decapitated one of them. So the studio executives like, oh, they just gave us an in-Zoom live Final Destination performance, and that sealed the deal for them.
The ultimate Zoom pitch. I love it.
Exactly.
Next up, the next Mission Impossible film. It is called The Final Reckoning. I saw a trailer in the theater the other day. It looks spectacular. Do we think it will actually be the last film in the franchise?
I mean, they're all committed to it. It's called The Final Reckoning, right? And, you know, look, I'm going to be so sad to see this go, because greatest action franchise ever, okay? In my mind, like, the Mission Impossible movies, there isn't a bad one among them.
That's a bold statement, but I tend to agree.
Yeah, like, I mean, the first one was my favorite, but every one of them delivered. And look, this is not just like I mean, look, this is the last time we're going to see Tom Cruise kind of dangling, risking his life in a Mission Impossible movie. Not that he's done yet. I think he's been getting these out of the way before he just shoots another movie where he shoots out into space. Like, he's literally planning a movie where he's traveling. The first movie shot in space. So this may be the last time we get to see Tom Cruise here on Earth.
And these movies are why we go to the theater, the Mission Impossible films. They're spectacular. And just quickly, lastly, I know a filmmaker you really love, P.T. Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson. His last film was Licorice Pizza. Now he's got another one. And we don't know much, right?
We don't know much, but I mean, P.T. Anderson, that's all I need to know, because this is my favorite filmmaker working today. I mean, The Master, Inherent Vice, Phantom Thread, those are my favorite movies of the 21st century, period. So when he's making a movie, I'm excited. And all we know about this is he got a $140 million check to make this movie, which is ridiculous, because he usually makes movies for $20 million.
Absolutely.
So it's an event film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Regina Hall, who I absolutely love. And the only thing, like, there's only rumors about what its title might be. Battle of Backman Cross, maybe. It's rumors that it might be a Thomas Pynchon adaptation of an adaptation of his 80s like Reagan era novel Vineland. And if that's what it is, then that's exciting, because the last time he adapted Pynchon was Inherent Vice, which is the movie that I have on repeat all the time.
There you go. Well, that's awesome. All I needed to hear was Paul Thomas Anderson, and like you, I'm in. Brad, thank you so much. You get us excited even when we don't have a ton of viz or information. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Happy New Year.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.